Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Hayes. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we're going to be making this Thinking of You card. It's a pretty simple card, but it features the blending brushes, and I've been getting quite a few questions on the blending brushes, so I thought I would make a video on how I use them, or have them using them. They do come in a package of 3, and you can see the bristles are really nice and soft. They have a nice long handle. They're in the spring catalog, and they're $12 for 3. So I'm just going to show you quick. You can see I have one in blues, I have one in pinks, and this one I've been using for the brown. So you can wash them with cold water and the inks will come out. They may stain your bristles. So, you know, you can even just rub them off like this to get the ink off that you used and switch colors. When I'm working with them, I always start with my lightest color and go to my darkest, so I don't have to clean the brush so much in between each color. So let's get started. So we're going to start with a piece of early espresso, and this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I did score it at 4 1/4. And then I have a layering piece that we're going to put on right away. And this is very vanilla, and this is 5 3/8. I hope I'm in the frame there. I went up a little high. 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we'll just put that right on. I might need a new stamping seal. This one's getting pretty low, but we'll see if it makes it through the video. I meant to grab another one out. All right, so this is just going to get placed right on here, and then we'll put that aside. So we're going to start with another piece of very vanilla, and this one is cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and this is what we're going to work with. So I'm going to start with my lightest brown shade that I have, and this is Crumb Cake, or that we're going to use anyways. Sahara Sand is a little lighter, but we didn't use that one today. And I'm just going to pick up some ink. I'm going to rub the brush in, and then before I put it on my paper, I always dab off just a little bit. And then when I start to apply, I'm going to start in the center here. I'm just going to very gently apply the ink, and then as some comes off, I'm going to press a little harder to get more ink off, and then I'll just go right through the center as there's less ink. So I'm going to just do this until I get the saturation that I want. And this time I'm going to avoid the dead center. I'm a little off center here, but that's okay. And just keep going around. Just because I wanted a brighter look for the center of the card. Okay, that's about enough crumb cake that we need. And at the end, I'll show you a few more samples of different colored shading I did other than the brown too. So I'm just going to pick up some. This one is soft suede, and again, just gently take some off on my grid paper. And then as I start, I'm going to be pretty soft. Because if you, let me just show you, if you just ink it up and plop it down, you're going to get something like that. And you want it a little more smooth. So we're just going to, I'm going to avoid the middle. And again, you just want to keep going until you get the saturation that you want. You want to kind of hold the paper taut with your fingers, because if you go too hard, the paper can bend a little bit, and that'll create a darker spot on your project. So we're just going to keep putting this on and smoothing it out. Somehow I got a little more ink over here, but I'm just going to smooth it out. I've been shading so much today, I feel like I have it all over my fingers. Okay, we're just going to do a little more of this color. And then we're going to come in with early espresso for the corners and the edges. All right, so I'm just going to take the ink off a little bit and then dip it in the early espresso, dab off, and then I'm going to start, this one is pretty dark, so I'm going to start right in the corner and start bringing it out. And again, we're just going to go over the whole paper like this. And I'm going to do the all four corners, and as you can see, I'm bringing it in down the sides as I have less ink on the brush. Dab off. Yep, we still have to do this one. And I'm just going to go around the edge when I have less ink again, just to get it looking the way I want it to look. So let me take a peek here. I think we need a little more on the edges, like right here, like this. And there we go. Just smoothing it out. These brushes give such a nice effect, shading effect. I just love them. So we're going to leave the early espresso ink out, and that's enough shading for me. That's how I'm liking it for this project. And I'm going to take a stamp from the Enjoy the Moment stamp set. This is in the spring catalog, the January to June 2021 catalog. And we're just going to be using one stamp out of this. When I'm doing a sympathy or thinking of you card, sometimes I like to keep them a little more simple. So we're just going to stamp this towards the bottom and the left edge, like that. And then I'm going to do the sentiment. Now the sentiment is out of, this is also in the spring catalog, Happy Thoughts. This is a great all-around set if you're looking for one. You've got a congratulations, a thank you, thinking of you, happy birthday. And then these are great not only for the outside of the card, but to stamp on the inside of the card as well. So we're just going to use the thinking of you. I have some scrap Very Vanilla here. There we go. Let me just close that up. And then we're going to use the circle punches. I have the 2-inch circle punch. Now, if you don't have the circle punches, you can always use your layering circle dies. I was just trying to have a project without the big shot for once. Or not, the Stampin' Cut and Boss machine, excuse me. And this is the 2 1/4 inch, just to have a layering piece of early espresso. All right, and then we can put our card together. So we're just going to put this right on top of our base, and that is out. So let's see. Here we go. This one looks like it does have some left in it. All right. And be careful, you can see I got some ink here because it's on my hand, but that's going to be covered up anyway, so that's not a big deal, but it could have been a catastrophe if I'm not careful. I tend to get ink everywhere, especially when I'm shading, but all right. So then we're just going to adhere this onto the early espresso, and then we're going to pop this up on some dimensionals, and then I'll show you some other samples I did with the shading. Here we go. All right, so there's the card we made. Here's our original. And then I did the same exact card, but this one, I hope you can see, I used the pearlescent paper. So the one thing I would tell you if you're going to shade on the pearlescent paper is that you can get fingerprints in it as you're shifting your paper around. Just buff those out. They come right out, so it's not a big deal, but just to be aware of it. And then this one I did in pinks and purples. And then these I've already posted on my Instagram. And then this one I did in blues. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, have a great day and thank you.